What is up, fam? Good evening. Tonight's video is going to be a little more serious than usual. It's going to be, it's a pretty serious video. This was one of the biggest mistakes of my military career, of my naval career. So on that note, let me go get some vino before we start to get into the story. Alrighty then. Well, I just want to note that I have this fear. If you were to say, Justin, what are you scared of? Holy shit, that's a gnarly glass of fucking wine. Alright, though, if you were to say, Justin, what's one of your fears? It's the fucking open window right behind me. Ever since I was a wee lad, I've had a fear of something coming through and getting me.
Move, children! Vámonos!
It's behind!
Oh!
Oh, fuck.
You've been on my mind, girl, since the flood. Ophelia, heaven help us all who falls in love.
The biggest fuck up of my naval career. Now, I figure I need to give you a little backstory, but so you understand at least. It's not going to be long, don't worry. So, this was in Japan. I was stationed in Japan at the time. Maybe the last year and a half of my Navy career. I was an E4 at the moment, a petty officer 3rd class. I was attached to a helicopter squadron, HSM 77, Helicopter Maritime Strike Squadron 77, which is an anti-submarine helicopter squadron. We also did search and rescue. We also can attach 50 caliber machine guns and M22s and Hellfire missiles and torpedoes. And we were attached to the George Washington and the Lincoln. Now, I was a plane captain. I was also a landing signalman enlisted, and I was day check supervisor of the line division. Now, what that means is in each Navy squadron, no matter what type of aircraft, there's a line division. The line division is comprised of all aviation rates. All junior sailors will go, most junior sailors will go to the line division in a squadron. That's where you will learn how to do all your plane captain duties, which involves doing daily inspections on the aircraft. You do turnaround inspections. You do wash jobs, so you clean the aircraft. You do aircraft moves, so we drive the tow tractors. We push around the aircraft. We tow it off and on the flight line. We also do aircraft launch and recoveries. So we're the ones standing in front of the aircraft, giving all the hand signals to the pilots, starting the engines, doing all the rotor head starts, making sure everything's checking good, putting people in and out of the rotor arcs. Also, we worked on the flight deck with those aircraft, and I was in charge of all those people. In the line division, I was in charge of 10 to 12 junior sailors, and as a supervisor in the line division, my job was to sign off on, this is a maintenance action form called a MAF, M-A-F. This is a maintenance action form in the Navy, and the reason I have this framed is because of this little piece of paper right here. This is called barrier paper. Now, what barrier paper is when you're in the line division in a squadron, you're in the line shack, we call it for short. We're in charge of doing all the wash jobs, so we clean all the aircraft. To clean the aircraft, you have to put barrier paper on all of the important parts. So in the hydraulics bay, you're putting barrier paper on certain flight controls, on a lot of important components. As a supervisor and as somebody that was a CDI, a collateral duty inspector, my duty was to sign off on my airman's work. So there was an airman that did the job, and my job inspected by, you can see my name, AM3J Miners. I signed off on that saying that the job was good, area was spotted free and secure, there was nothing on the aircraft that was left, everything's picked up, all the tools are away, the aircraft's good to fly. Well, the next day, Quality Assurance, which is a division in a squadron, we call them QA, they did a walk around, and they opened up the tail cone part of the helicopter, which is the back end, and they found this piece of barrier paper still jammed into the flight controls. And I signed off on that saying that everything was good. So basically I was fucked. That could have caused the flight controls to jam. I don't know. You know, any little thing is not good. And that is a big piece of barrier paper, and that could have fucked some shit up. And like that, people's lives are at risk. Pilots' lives. They trust us as the maintainers, as they put a lot of power into the E1, E2, E3, E4s, E5s in the military, and they're trusting us with their aircraft, with their lives. And you know, I messed up. I didn't make sure the area was fog-free and secure. There was a piece of barrier paper that was left, and luckily there was somebody. You know, they knew me as a good worker. I had never really made a huge mistake like that. And that just proves to show you in the military, you're not going to get, you know, if you're an honest, good worker, you're a good person, you know, you bust your ass every day, and you make a mistake, you know, stuff happens. You know, stuff can be forgiven. You're not going to get sent to captain's mast right away unless, you know, you show a history of this and you have a couple of write-ups and, you know, if you're not a good worker, if you're a piece of shit, then, you know, they're not going to go out of their way to help you. But luckily, the quality assurance leading petty officer knew me, and you know, we were not that we were friends, but you know, he knew I was a good worker and that this was a one-time mistake. So he said, "Hey, instead of bumping this up the chain of command and you know having you get in trouble and potentially lose rank, maybe even go to captain's mast, who knows how far? You know, sometimes in squadrons in the Navy, they'll use one person as they'll set an example. They'll use you as the example." And you'll get really strictly punished sometimes. You know, they're like, okay, should try to use it as kind of a scare tactic. I don't know. I've seen it happen. But luckily, he was like, just frame this. Always keep this with you. And let it be a reminder, you know, that you can make mistakes and you can redeem yourself. And I never made that same mistake again. Trust me. And it's always reminding me, like, you know, it's not how, what's the common saying? It's not how you fall down, but it's how you get back up. And that has a lot of truth to it. Alright guys, it was really late. I had a late shift at work. It's about 1 in the morning right now. And I gotta edit this stuff and get this stuff to go. But I'm sticking to the video every day in the summer. I'm gonna keep, you know, we gotta keep pushing. We gotta keep grinding. Social media below as always. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys mañana. Goodbye.